This is the NBA on NBC. The 1998 NBA playoffs. Today, it's the Chicago Bulls versus the Charlotte Hornets.
There are, of course, Michael Jordan fans everywhere he goes. But of the various road stops around the NBA, there might be a few more in Charlotte than other places. This city, after all, is only about 135 miles from Chapel Hill, where Michael played his college ball, just over 200 miles from Wilmington, North Carolina, where MJ grew up. So there might be some cheers for Michael and the Bulls today at the Hive, with the Hornets, the home club, trailing 2-1. We welcome you to Game 4 of this series and Game 3 of our Mother's Day tripleheader on NBC. With Doug Collins and Isaiah Thomas, I'm Bob Costas. Zeke, wherever Michael Jordan goes, the spotlight travels with him, even when one of the 50 greatest players of all time is his teammate. But that doesn't mean that even Michael Jordan can't occasionally use a little help.
You know, Michael is the focus of the Charlotte Hornets. However, Scottie Pippen needs to step up. In Game 1, those two combined to score over 60 points. And in Game 2, Scottie Pippen only shot 4 of 16 from the field. Game 3, he came back with a very solid performance and was 6 of 9 from the field. Also, his defense on Glenn Rice is crucial. If Chicago is to continue to advance and play well, Jordan is going to need the continued support of Scottie Pippen, Bob.
Well, Doug, you and Zeke are the analysts, and good luck analyzing the Charlotte Hornets. You don't know what you get from game to game.
Well, Bob, they better be on today, and what I mean is Glenn Rice better be making his shots, and Anthony Mason must set the tone on both ends of the floor for his team, like he did in Game 2. In the win, 15 points and 12 rebounds, but he was a physical presence for his team defensively against Michael Jordan. Also, they must make their open shots. In Game 1, they missed 19 of 26 open shots. In Game 3, 15 of 20 open shots. When they get an open look, they've got to bury it today.
Before tip-off, time to check with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Bob. B.J. Armstrong played a very big role in Chicago's 3 championships when he played on this team. Well, he's also playing a big role in Chicago's run to try to make it 6. The way he's doing that is the way he led his team to victory in Game 2 has shocked the Chicago Bulls team into the reality that they can lose. Michael Jordan told me that this game is all about challenges, and his challenge will be that of playing against Anthony Mason. He said the way he wants to play Anthony Mason is to make Anthony Mason move. If he stays stagnant, he said Anthony Mason is way too powerful for him to overcome. Now, one other thing Michael Jordan told me is that he loves North Carolina, loves Charlotte, but the next time he comes down here, he hopes to play golf. Bob?
All right, Ahmad, and we'll tee it up with the starting lineups and the opening tip-off from the Hive when we come back. Game 4 next.
NBA on NBC is brought to you by Miller Lite, who reminds you that whenever you feel good, it's Miller time. By Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. And by Castrol Syntec, the active lubricant.
Welcome back to Charlotte. Time to check the starting lineups for the Bulls, who have won 5 of 7 against the Hornets this year, 3 of 4 in the regular season, 2 of 3 in this series. Michael Jordan comes as no surprise, the leading playoff scorer, although Shaq may be breathing down his neck after another big performance today. And Harper, his veteran running mate at guard. Pippen had an off game in between 2 solid performances in Games 1 and 3. The game in which he scored 13 and shot just 4 of 16 from the floor is the game which the Bulls lost at home to the Hornets. And Luke Longley is back at the center spot the last few games. For the Hornets, Bobby Phills, whose primary job is a defensive one, still is expected to contribute something offensively and basically has not done that throughout most of this series. Wesley joins him in the backcourt. Divac has had a huge series. 19 rebounds in one of the games, 15.3 rebounds overall, just 1 board less per game than Dennis Rodman is averaging in this series for Chicago. Dave Cowens got into it with Anthony Mason after Game 3, actually during Game 3. Mason played only 4 minutes in the 4th quarter, and as he came off the floor after being yanked, he said something to Cowens, and Cowens had a rather colorful suggestion for Mr. Mason. And his opposite number is, of course, Phil Jackson with 101 playoff victories recently passed Red Auerbach in total career playoff wins. Of course, there were fewer rounds in Red's day. Pat Riley is the all-time leader in total career playoff victories among coaches.
Bob, I think what you're going to see here early in the game is so that Anthony Mason can get back and guard Michael Jordan. You're going to see Bobby Fields against Scottie Pippen. You're going to see Glenn Rice play Dennis Rodman. So what the key is going to be now for Glenn Rice is to limit the offensive rebounding opportunities that Dennis Rodman gets. So that's going to be a critical matchup for them. Although he's not an offensive threat, he gives his team multiple shot opportunities with the offensive rebounding.
And Doug, in talking with Dave Cowens, he told us before the game that he likes it when their team is emotionally charged like this. He liked the fact that he and Anthony Mason got into it, because he says that he believes that when he and Anthony Mason argue and fight, he comes out and he plays better the next game.
Let's quickly check in with Ahmad.
All right, Bob, I talked to B.J. Armstrong just before the game, and he is really fired up. I asked him about his play in Game 2. He said, you know what? I came to compete. They know what that's all about. I'm going to make them compete today. Bob?
Thanks, Ahmad. B.J. awaiting his chance on the bench. We'll see him shortly. The officials are Steve Javy, Jack Neese, and Bob Delaney. And Rice chases the tip into the backcourt. Bobby Fields has it with Harper on him. Jordan is guarding Wesley at the outset. Wesley runs him around a screen, takes it into the lane, and then misses the finger roll. Pippen flying. Don't count it. Wave it off. Offensive foul.
You can also see here Bobby Fields initiating the offense. Why? Because Michael Jordan guarding the point guard took them completely out of their offense in Game 3. So whoever Michael's guarding will be off the ball today.
In fact, Jordan asked to guard the point in Game 3 and did it in tremendous fashion. Divac continues his good play with the game's first basket. B.J. Armstrong and Del Curry, who were so important in the Hornets' Game 2 win at Chicago, were held to 2 points between them while being guarded by Michael Jordan in Game 3. Here's Michael's first shot. Ties it at 2.
Bob, you'll see Charlotte attacking the basket today. They don't believe that Chicago has shot blockers, so they want to get to the basket as often as possible and try to create some foul situations for themselves.
Rice is open, but misses. Divac has it, and fouled as he tries to follow. Glenn Rice, though, missing the open shot, continues to be a story. In the first playoff game, he made 15 of 19 in a win against the Hawks. Since then, only 41%. He is playing with a sore thumb on his shooting hand.
Now, the foul line is very important for Charlotte, because in this series, Chicago has outscored Charlotte by only 4 field goals, 95-91, but they've outshot Charlotte from the free throw line and made 14 more free throws. So Charlotte needs to get to the free throw line.
Well, Vlade has been terrific. He's gotten 13 offensive rebounds in the first 3 games. This is 14th of the series. But already to start this game out, Glenn Rice has missed an open jump shot, David Wesley an open layup. That does not bear well for Charlotte.
When you play the Bulls, your margin of error is so small, you almost have to capitalize on every decent opportunity to have any chance to pull an upset. Michael again. Not this time. Wesley pushes it back the other way, pulls up and fires, and gets the roll.
See, Doug, I believe that's the way Charlotte has to play. You got to be able to score against Chicago in transition. You're not going to be able to score as often when you're playing against them 5-on-5, but you got to be able to score in transition.
Michael with 2 defenders on him, poked away, and sprinting ahead is Fields. So Michael lost it, and the Hornets have a 7-2 lead.
Dave Cowens really wants the guys up the floor pressuring the ball, disrupt the Bulls' offense. They're a rhythm team.
And Pippen's pass is intercepted by Mason. 3-on-2 if they hurry. Here's Fields again.
Bob, a lot of coaches would be calling timeout. Phil Jackson knows it's a championship team. Play through it. Play through this little crowd spurt that you've got right now.
And if you're Charlotte, Doug, your mindset right now has to be continue to attack. Can you attack for 4 quarters? Not just 1, not just 5 minutes, but can you sustain this type of attack throughout the course of a game?
Michaels turnaround, spins out, rebound Rice. And Rodman and Divac are all tangled up with each other. Official Bob Delaney looks back over his shoulder and warns them both about the rough stuff, as if that's going to put a stop to it. Out of bounds here to Chicago. The Bulls have turned the ball over 3 times in the first 3 minutes. All 3 miscues converted into Charlotte baskets. Michaels pass intended for Rodman. There's another turnover. Wesley dishes to Rice. Up top, Mason. Michaels on Rice. Takes him inside. And misses. Gets it back. And is not fouled. The ball is knocked away. Divac has it. His turnaround. Got it! It's so loud in here. I thought for a moment I heard a whistle as Rice made his move, but they let them play, and Divac eventually connected.
Now what Chicago is trying to do right here is counteract this emotional rush with intelligence. They want to move the ball around and try to get a wide open look.
Steve Javie stops play. They've got to decide about a reset of the shot clock. It looked like Longley's shot was an air ball, and the shot clock thus should have kept on ticking. There may have been a mistake. They set it now at 20. Michael, who has half of Chicago's 4 early turnovers. To Longley. His shot is short, but Harper has it. Longley again with the hook.
See, Longley is being guarded by David Wesley. And Dave Cowens told us that they want Chicago to try to exploit that matchup so they can keep the ball out of Pippen's and Jordan's hands.
Charlotte leads at 11-4. And it stays that way as Harper clears it. Pippen looking for the pull-up 3, but they get up on him. Michael, baseline drive around Mason, but the bank is closed. Back comes Mace. His feed for Rice bounces off his chest, but Mason recovers. Takes it to the hole with Rodman on him, and Dennis fouled him. Before Mason shoots, we'll step aside. 11-4 Hornets.
You can see Charlotte's defense very aggressive here in this first quarter. David Wesley playing him tough. The weak side help by Bobby Phills. The run out for the easy score. Now Mason, what's Mason going to do? He said, I'm going to try to get him off the block. I want him to do everything fading away from the basket, make it be one and done. There's the rebound. Now you can run once again. Michael Jordan beats Mason on the baseline, and there's a Hornet defender waiting for him, gets just a piece of him to be able to deflect it and knock the shot away. So what have they done here early? They've been able to force turnovers. They've rebounded the ball. They've run. That's the way you get to your early offense. You cannot run by taking the ball out of the basket after made field goals.
And the thing that I noticed that Jordan is doing right now is he's trying to find out where he can score. He's taken Mason outside, shot the J. He's taken him inside a couple of times. Even though he's got 2 turnovers, he's trying to figure out and set Mason up at the end of the game so he'll find his shot where he can take it and where he can make it, as Ahmad alluded to early, that he would try to move Mason around throughout the course of this game.
And Mason's 2 free throws increase the lead to 9. Pippen from Jordan on the drive, gives it up, and Rodman has the easy layup. Even even though it's harder to get something going after a made basket, you saw how quickly Charlotte tried to inbound, take it out of the net, and push it back up the floor. Mason, his pass is juggled, and it will belong to Chicago as they lose it out.
Bob, as the game goes on, just notice how tough the Bulls defense is in the half court. As the game goes on, it picks up. So Charlotte has got to find a way to be able to get that ball, advance it up the floor, and get some uncontested shots, and then shoot a high percentage.
Rice out on Rodman. Harper from Jordan. Longley with the hook. Rebound Rice, who had inside position on Rodman. Divac goes to work on Longley. Looking for his shot. Turns baseline and a whistle before the release. No basket. Foul on Longley is his second, and that brings Bill Wennington off Chicago's bench.
Now this creates a different kind of matchup for Divac because Wennington can hit the outside shot. So what Divac will have to do defensively is make sure that he stays close to Wennington.
Wesley misfires on a three, but Charlotte has the rebound. Rice with the head fake on Pippen. Now the jumper, and Scotty blocks it. Ahead to Harper, 2-on-1. It's Harper all the way for the dunk. In Pippen and Jordan, you have 2 of the 5 members of this year's NBA All-Defensive team. Jordan for the 9th time, Pippen for the 7th. And the defense started that break.
That's when they run. Deflections, turnovers.
Mason's shot spills out. Another try.
You see how aggressive Mason is. That's what Dave Cowens was talking about at the start of the game, that he wanted Mason to come out and be very aggressive, and he believes that when they argue and fight a little bit, that's good for Mason's mentality.
What does that say about Mason's mentality?
well, as a coach, you need to prod your guys any way you can. Doug knows that.
Michael's turnaround is good.
That's why I'm sitting here.
Jordan now 2 of 5 from the floor with 4 points. Mason to work on Rodman, and Mason is hit with the offensive foul.
Now, when you get Mason in the low post, here's what you want to do defensively. When he tries to come to the middle, you can't let him spin back. Keep him coming to the middle. He wants to spin and get back baseline. You see Rodman does a nice job, gets his shoulders in there, draws the charge. Mason likes to get the contact, wheel back, use that left hand off the glass. Excellent defense.
Pippen looking to get involved. Hasn't taken a shot yet in this first quarter. Whistle away from the ball. Zeke, you mentioned at the top that Scottie Pippen has got to provide more offense. He hasn't hoisted a shot yet.
Well, in the beginning, they came out and they tested Jordan against Mason. Now you see they'll try to get Pippen involved, but he's going to have a tough time posting Fields in the low post, so he'll take him out and shoot to Jay.
The three is long. The rebound to Rice. Here's Wesley. Jordan cuts him off. Rice long with the 3, and his shooting woes continue. He's 0 for 5 in this game. One of the best pure shooters in the NBA. 0 for 5 thus far in this one.
See, now you got Rice guarding Pippen in the low post, and Pippen will be able to back Rice down because Rice don't have the leg strength that Fields has.
Rice picks up his first. And Chicago asks for time. 3 minutes and 30 seconds to play in the first. The Hornets up by 5. As we mentioned, Scottie Pippen is a member of the NBA's all-defensive team for the 7th time. Michael Jordan for the 9th. These guys are perennials. You often see their names on the list. Gary Payton, the glove, and Mutombo, the defensive player of the year for the 3rd time.
Now, you talk about Pippen's defense. Glenn Rice is 0 for 5. Now, Pippen gets the block, and he initiates the fast break. Now, Harper has a 2-on-1 fast break, and Fields wisely lets him take the layup as opposed to letting Jordan get involved and get the dunk.
As we come back, the Bulls trailing by 5 have Steve Kerr on the floor for the first time. Michael fades and fires over Mason and drills it.
Now, mentally, Michael will make a note of that spot on the court, and the next time he wants to get a basket, he'll remember to bring Mason right back there for a shot.
Michael with 6. Fills, in and out. And Scotty clears it. Jordan hands it back to Kerr. Here's Kukoc. Michael with some room. And he's got 8.
Now, although Michael is making that shot, you'll live with those jump shots. If he has to take 25 shots to get 30 points, you'll live with it. Where he really kills you is when he penetrates your defense and gets you in foul trouble and gets to the line 9 or 10 times.
Devon's in the lane, draws 3 defenders, and Pippen pokes it away. Kerr picks it up. Here's Scotty at the other end from Michael. Pippen's first basket. Rice quickly back.
Now you notice Charlotte has quit attacking.
Fills, fires from the corner, and connects.
They must keep attacking, not for 5, but for 48, because Chicago will come back to you.
And the three-pointer makes it 18-16. Pippen head of the key, whistle before the shot. And Pippen is called for the foul, which is his second.
Part of their offense is the player catches the ball at the top and he makes that little inside turn as the cutter goes by him. The referee said that Scotty stuck his leg out. Let's get a look to see if that happens. Now watch Scotty pivot as the defender goes by. He gets him with his hip, actually his leg. I'm not so sure that's a foul. It looked to me like the defender just tripped over Scotty's leg. Isaiah, we also talked so much about the game being one of maybe 6 or 8 minutes of energy and emotion, and then 42 to 40 minutes of execution. The Bulls took the Hornets' emotion and energy early, and it's a 2-point game. That has to be a little bit discouraging for Charlotte. The way they have played here, you would think they may be up 6 or 8 points.
Yeah, some teams, Doug, try to combat that emotion with emotion, but Chicago uses that emotion and combats it with intelligence and smart play.
B.J. Armstrong off the bench for the first time tonight. Rice slings it to Fills, and Fills once again hits it. This one's a 2-point basket.
He's gotten off to a great start, and he did it by running out early and getting a couple layups. You get a guy struggling with some easy baskets, that jumper comes much more easily for you in the half court.
See, those are 2 big shots for Fields because he's only shooting 36% in this series.
Kukoc misses the 3 from the side, but Rodman chases it down. Pippen splits the lane, deals to Kukoc.
Glenn Rice has to think about one thing when you're guarding Dennis Rodman. Face guard him, do whatever it takes. Don't worry about getting any rebounds. Just don't let him get the ball. Make your teammate come back and pick up the rebounds.
Not many guys can help you as much when they're not scoring as Pippen can. But look at his overall floor play. Look what he's done defensively. Look at the feed just there to Kukoc.
You know, over the last 4 to 5 years, Scottie Pippen is the second best player, in my opinion, in the league, right behind Michael Jordan. He does so many things for this team, offensively and defensively. And when he wasn't there, they missed his leadership most of all.
At the other end, offensive foul on J.R. Reed, who has just come in. So the Bulls have it back. Looking to tie. Michael. He had hit 3 in a row, but misses that one. Armstrong slows it up. They'll look for the last shot of the quarter, protecting and trying to add to a 2-point lead. Three seconds to shoot, and it's Fills. Missing long. Rodman has it, and there's the horn. After a slow start, Michael heats up a bit. The Bulls pull to within 2 after 1, and you're watching the NBA on NBC.
Ahmad Rashad back in Charlotte. Now, just watching Scottie Pippen, he is as assertive as we've seen him, I think, this entire playoff. There's a lot of conversation yesterday at the hotel about Scottie taking over, being the one to step up and being the X factor in this playoff series. And as you watch him, he's begging for the ball in the block. He's playing defense all over, rebounding, dribbling. This is the Scottie Pippen that I think Isaiah, the guy you talked about, who's the second best player in the NBA.
Thanks, Ahmad. We start the second quarter. Kukoc in the front court. Hornets by 2. Scott Burrell making his first appearance. Rodman's pass inside to a cutting Pippen and give Rodman a good assist.
Now, right now, Michael Jordan is resting. With that in mind, if you're Charlotte, you got to make a little bit of a push here. You got to give yourself some cushion. You cannot let this Bulls bench get the lead with Michael Jordan sitting.
And this is where Pippen will try to exert his offensive will on the game. He's already shut Rice down. Rice is 0 for 5.
Can he change it? Yes, he can. Just a step inside the arc, a 2-point basket, 22-20, Charlotte. Rodman running the floor and receiving the reward.
That's what you love about Dennis Rodman, is the little things that he does. Runs the floor, sees the opening, cuts to the middle, fights for the rebounds.
Mason can't hit it. Burrell crashes the boards. Chicago looks to take the lead. Pippen for 3. Rebound Mason. Rice over Burrell. Mason on the offensive glass. Leaning on Rodman. Takes him into the lane. Left hands it up and hits him.
See, that's the move right there, Bob. You can't let him spin back. That's his patent move. The first time he kept him going across the middle, got the foul. This time Mason spun quickly, got the little left-hand jump hook.
Burrell hits off the Kerr assist. The one-time Hornet ties the game at 24. And now as Burrell tussles with Rice, there's a foul on Burrell of Chicago, which stops the clock with 9:35 to play in the first half.
The Chicago Bulls, such an intelligent basketball team. You make a mistake, they're going to capitalize. You see J.R. Reed going over to double team. He doesn't need to do it. Look at Dennis Rodman right here. He's going to make this sprint, and J.R. Reed turns his back. The sprint, no weak side defense, and the dunk by Dennis Rodman. These are the kind of baskets that you don't want to give Dennis Rodman. The layup, when you see him, he sees it, sprints right down the middle of the floor. Opportunistic basket for a guy who makes those kind of plays that helps your team win games.
The thing I love about that play, Doug, is that they play so well together and they read each other. They have 11 assists on 12 field goals right now.
Matt Geiger in for the first time for the Hornets. This is Rice shooting over Burrell and hitting. Happy to see anybody other than Pippen on him. Rice goes to work.
We see Scottie gets his first rest. Michael comes right into the game, so Phil Jackson always wants one of those guys on the floor.
Kukoc around Reed. Kerr is there. Steve Kerr will surprise you. He'll grab a few rebounds. Michael Phils has the D on him this time. Four seconds to shoot. Got to force it. Way off and grabbed by Reed. 24-second violation.
See, Bobby Phils is strong now. Michael Jordan has played against him before, and he knows of his strength. And Bobby Phils got up into Michael that time, made him do everything east-west, did not let him get any penetration into the lane.
Now watch Rice in the post here.
Kukoc comes over on the double, leaving Reed alone, and J.R. Reed makes them pay.
That's a big shot for J.R. Reed and for Rice, because when Rice is in the post, being double teamed, he kick it out quick to Reed. Reed make the fake and then nail the shot.
Phils backs away from Michael, who's not a three-point shooter anymore. Kukoc is. And they creep to within one on the three. Geiger, who missed all of the Atlanta series with a hamstring pull, back in action now. Rice from Phils, off the glass, got it.
This is what discourages you as a defensive player. You're Scottie Pippen. You got him locked down. You go take a rest, and all of a sudden he gets off. Now Scottie's got to come back in and try to cool him down once again.
Geiger out on Michael on the switch. And Phils breaks it up and knocks it out of bounds. During the regular season, Matt Geiger averaged 24 minutes a game, 11 points and 7 rebounds. Prior to today, he played only 9 minutes total in the playoffs, all in this series, without a point or a rebound. Divac' minutes have gone up. Jordan misses long. And Reed has it.
Bob, I think Geiger could really help them out in this series with his picks, his rebounds, and his hustle plays, and the little things that he does out there on the floor defensively can really help this Charlotte Hornet team.
Reed again from Rice. Same thing. They doubled Rice. Reed went to the same spot and drilled it.
Open shooting. Bob, remember we talked about it to start the game. In game 1, they missed 19 of 26 open shots. In game 3, 15 of 20. J.R. Reed buries 2 open looks.
Longley, good pass to Michael.
As an offensive player, when you find something that works, you should go right back to it.
See, if Scottie Pippen's in there, they're not double teaming. With Scott Burrell, they're going to the double team, or otherwise Glenn Rice is punishing him. That's 3 field goals without the double team.
B.J. Armstrong has the playoff experiences and smart enough to go right back to the same play.
The Hornets have made their last 6 shots. And they lead it by 5. Michael, 3 seconds to shoot. Baseline force. Kukoc the follow. Could be a 3-point play. Michael thinks he was fouled on his release, but they got the bucket anyway. We'll be right back. Back at the Hive, Bob Costas, Ahmad Rashad, Isaiah Thomas, and Doug Collins. Charlotte trying to even the series. And if they don't, you really can't think much of their chances going back to Chicago down 3-1 for a 5th game. Kukoc can't complete the 3-point play. Geiger has the rebound.
And don't think Chicago doesn't know that Indiana's up 3-1 and maybe looking at some rest too.
Added incentive for the Bulls to make quick work of the Hornets, because the Pacers are looking at least the possibility of sending the Knicks home quickly. Reed, his 3rd basket of this quarter.
You can see what's happening here, Isaiah. Whoever Tony Kukoc is guarding, they're going right at him and trying to punish him.
Yeah, Charlotte sees Kukoc as the weak link right now, and it's important that they keep punishing him as long as he's in the game.
Kukoc again. Chased down by Rice.
Now, BJ will go right back at him. You got to go right back at him. He'll wave Mason off, and he wants to get it right back into Reed in a post or some type of pick and roll.
It's Reed out high to Geiger for the shot. That's way off, and Rodman takes it. Snapping a string of 7 consecutive successful field goal attempts by the Hornets. Michael over Mason, got it. For the record, Michael Jordan with 12 points has now scored in double figures, at least 10, in 1,001 consecutive games, regular season and playoffs combined. And here's the steal. Racing with Reed. And count the basket. Well, 2 Tar Heels in a foot race, and if you're going to wrap Michael up, you're going to have to do it a bit more aggressively than that, because he left his arms free for the layup.
Well, if you're going to wrap him up, you wrap his arms up, not his legs. He shoots with his arms. Look how strong Michael is, and he just finishes the shot and the opportunity now for the three-point play. But again, how many times have we seen in this game the Bulls get down 4, 5, or 6 points, and with their defense get opportunistic, easy scores? That's when they run. They're not a team that runs for 48 minutes. They pick and choose their spots.
And the first thing that I noticed about this graphic that we just flashed up there is that it's his first free throw of the night with 4:25 to go in the second quarter.
15 for Michael. Suddenly tied at 36. Just over 4 minutes to play in the half. Armstrong, the jumper, good.
They need BJ. He's an important part of this team. He can make some shots. They'd like to be able to use him at crunch time. And we've not seen Del Curry yet. Will it be one of these games that he waits till the fourth quarter so he'll have fresh legs like he did in game 2 when they won?
Longley had it knocked away by Divac, and Longley touched it last as it went out. Armstrong driving on Kerr, dealing to Divac. Short with the 20-footer. The pull-up three, one of his specialties. He buries it, and the Bulls take the lead at 39-38.
See, what happened that time is Rodman ran out and Glenn Rice picked him up, and J.R. Reed didn't rotate to Scottie Pippen for the three.
It's just a 20-second timeout, giving us a chance to tell you that you can follow all the playoff action on NBA.com. Step inside the NBA.com arena for real-time box scores, live shot charts, same-night video highlights, live audio from every game. Get into the game at www.nba.com, your ultimate online resource for the NBA playoffs. Here's Del Curry peeling off the warm-up and coming off the Hornet bench apparently for the first time tonight.
Well, B.J. Armstrong and Del Curry are so important for this team because they're very good open shooters. When they won game 2, they had 21 of Charlotte's 29 points in the fourth quarter. These two guys are critical to their success.
Doug, right now for the Charlotte Hornets, shooting is not the problem. They're shooting 53% for the game and 69% in this quarter, but yet they still trail by 1.
Here is Curry. 6 of 8 with 15 points in game 2. Throws it away. Kerr stepping in front of Armstrong to pick it off. Scottie inside Rodman.
Now, the play before that, Rodman streaked out long. Pippen hit the 3. Pippen comes back, spots up for the 3. They run at Pippen. He throws it into Rodman for the layup.
Mason. Rice with Pippen back on him. Curry, the quick release. It's long, and the line drive rebound is picked off by Pippen.
See, although Mason is getting double teamed in the low post, he has to hold that ball longer.
Michael, a little bumping and jostling. His shot is no good. Curry takes it. Feeds it to Rice, who can't hold on to it. It's off his leg and out of bounds. Timeout with 2:08 to play in the half, and Dave Cowan's team suddenly down by 3.
Now, Dennis Rodman is averaging 16 rebounds in this series thus far. And tonight, he's at it again. Watch as he works off the missed pass, off the pass. He lays it up. Then he gets the rebound, waves him back, and then he comes again, moving without the ball, making the easy layup. When Rodman scores for the Chicago Bulls, it's an added plus because he gives you everything defensively. Gives you the rebounding, he shuts his man down, and the points that he's getting is an added plus and a bonus in this series.
This is danger time right now for Charlotte. They've played such a good first half. They've made some mistakes, and Chicago has done a good job coming down and capitalizing. 2 minutes to go here. They're down 3. They can't let the Bulls hit them with another little surge here. It'll be very discouraging going in at halftime.
Mason on Michael. Kerr had it knocked away by Curry and recaptures it. Rodman having trouble finding the handle, and Curry comes away with the ball. Here's Wesley back in. Pippen, who has done such a good job on Rice. Longley over on a double team. 3 seconds to shoot. Curry out of the corner. No. Got his own rebound. Divac with room. Short. And it's Pippen.
Now your 3 main scorers out on the floor for Charlotte is Mason, Rice, and Curry, and they're being guarded by Pippen, Jordan, and Rodman. Good luck.
Michael's miss is gathered in by Divac. Curry. On the drive, lays it in. After 15 points on 6 of 8 in game 2, he was blanked in game 3, missing all 3 field goal attempts. Gets on the board here.
If you're going to run screen roll, Isaiah, you got to screen him on the sideline. They ice it down, send you baseline, screen at that time. Curry turned the corner.
He's able to turn the corner, Doug. Michael Jordan wasn't involved in that play with Steve Kerr, so therefore Curry was able to get around and turn the corner and lay it up. But when Jordan is guarding Curry, who shut him down, Pippen is shutting Rice down, and you have Rodman guarding Mason. So you have to take advantage of Curry every time he's on you.
Another Charlotte foul. The previous one was on Mason, his second. And tonight on Dateline, he was caught in a scandal that cost him his career. What does Gary Hart think of President Clinton's current dilemma? Gary Hart's first interview in 10 years on Dateline tonight. That foul was on Wesley, his first. Randy Brown making his first appearance. And spending an inordinate amount of time adjusting his shorts. Now he's apparently set. Bulls lead it by 3. Here is Rice on the run. Off the glass, no good. Divac trying to follow. And the foul is on the Hornets.
Rice was forced to take a tough shot, was trying to come off the screen. Pippen had him locked up in the screen, and when he finally freed himself, he was off balance, and he couldn't turn the corner to get squared up. You see, as he comes in, he isn't really unbalanced, and he can't really get squared up because of the congestion that he was trying to get through. Divac came over trying to get the offensive tap, and you got Pippen going to the line.
29 seconds left in the half as Pippen sees the first one rattle in and out.
You see Pippen struggle right there in game 2, only going 4 for 16. Came back with a solid game 3. They really need Scottie Pippen to step up and play well for them offensively.
Pippen misses them both.
Glenn Rice again on Burrell. He scored all 8 of his points in this game on Burrell. Let's see if they go to him and he can shake himself free. He has not been able to score on Pippen.
And Burrell commits the foul off the ball, trying to deny Rice position. That's 2 on Burrell.
Doug, Charlotte has done a very good job staying in this game the last 2 minutes. You made reference that that's when Chicago really likes to make their run, and you mentioned that it was a dangerous time. And Charlotte has done a very good job weathering the storm and staying in this game.
Divac juggles it but finds Curry, who misses. 6 seconds as Rodman grabs it. Randy Brown has it knocked away, but he was fouled. With 1.8 seconds to play in the half, the foul on Wesley is his second.
The hesitation by Del Curry caused him to miss the shot. He caught it, looked like he had it in rhythm, stopped, then tried to take the shot. Very difficult when you lose your momentum of your shot to be able to knock that down. And Del Curry has not shot the ball well since he's come off the bench at the 3.5-minute mark here this second quarter.
Three misses at the foul line in a row for Chicago. 2 by Pippen, 1 by Brown.
In game 2, Curry and Armstrong was big for the Charlotte Hornets. If the Charlotte Hornets is going to win this game tonight, they're going to get that type of production again from their bench.
Less than 2 seconds to get off a shot, trailing by 4. They sling it ahead for Wesley, who tries to save it, and that is the way the first half concludes. Michael Jordan had 15. He shot 7 of 17 from the floor. Stay tuned for the Prudential Halftime Report coming up after these messages. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
This is Hannah Storm in New York. It's halftime in Charlotte with the Bulls leading the Hornets 44-40. Coming up for most of you, except in the Pacific and Mountain time zones, an extended break for your local news. After that, we'll update you on the 2 early games in the NBA. First, these messages from your local station.
Financial Services.
Halftime in Charlotte with the Bulls leading the Hornets 44-40. Michael Jordan leads all scorers with 15 points. Hi, everybody. Hannah Storm back in New York. Let's take a look at the highlights of the 2 early games today, starting with a thriller in New York between the Pacers and the Knicks. Late in the first quarter, John Starks elbowing Reggie Miller. Initially, Starks ejected from the game, but officials reconsidered and called him for a flagrant foul. He stayed in. Late in the fourth, Knicks on the run, and Patrick Ewing gets it to Larry Johnson. New York's biggest lead was 8 points with under 5 minutes left. Then Indiana battled back. Rick Smits with the turnaround, bringing the Pacers within 3 with less than 2 minutes left. Smits 14 points in the fourth. Smits on the miss in the final seconds, but the Pacers get it to Reggie Miller with the open look. Miller hits the 3 to send the game into overtime, tied at 102. And the Pacers began overtime on a 10-0 run, capped by Miller's shot from downtown. He finished with 38 points. The final, Indiana wins at 118-107 to take a 3-games-to-1 lead in the series. Here's what Reggie Miller had to say after the game.
Coach Bird collectively said, as a team, we all going to have to stick our hands. It just so happened my shot wasn't falling early, but like I said, I wasn't going to leave no bullets in the gun. I was going to shoot myself in or shoot myself out. Unfortunately, I kind of shot myself in.
The Pacers will try to close out the Knicks Wednesday night at Market Square Arena. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, the Lakers also took a 3-games-to-1 lead, beating the Seattle Supersonics 112-100. And the Lakers turning once again to Shaquille O'Neal, a dominant force in the series. Time winding down in the first half. Eddie Jones with the save. Nick Van Exel winds up with the ball, and he beats the buzzer with a 3-pointer. The Lakers lead by 2 at the half. Late in the third, Van Exel alley-oop to Shaq, who finished with a game-high 39 points. Lakers by 10 after 3 quarters. Big game again for Eddie Jones for the 3rd consecutive game, a career playoff high. He finished with 32 points. The final, 112-100. Game 5 is back in Seattle on Tuesday night. In the other Western Conference semifinal, the Jazz lead the Spurs 2-games-to-1 with Game 4 tonight in San Antonio. You can see the game on TNT starting at 9 o'clock Eastern. It's halftime in Charlotte with the Bulls leading the Hornets by 4. We'll send it back for the second half right after these messages.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential, bringing strength and stability to America's families through insurance, healthcare, real estate, and financial services.
Back at the Hive, Zeke, Isaiah Thomas, and the coach, Doug Collins, along with Bob Costas. Ahmad Rashad is also here. Charlotte sprinted out to an 11-2 lead, but now they trail by 4 at the half. And let's take a look at the Miller Lite halftime stats.
Well, Bob, the trends that really jump out at you is the Chicago Bulls shooting again over 50%. And they are 19-0, including the playoffs, and shooting over 50%. They have 17 assists on 19 of the field goals. For Charlotte, Glenn Rice has 8 points. They came against Scotty Burrell when Scottie Pippen was resting, and they got 12 points off 8 turnovers, but most of that was in the first quarter.
And when you look at Chicago again, it's Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Chicago's up 4 right now. The others have gotten involved, but when you look at Jordan's shot chart, he's got 2 baskets inside. He's taking shots from all over, and we said at the start of the game he was going to move Mason around, and you look for him at the end. Now you look at Charlotte's shot chart, and they've getting scoring from everyone on their bench. Go.
And we swing it over to Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Bob. Dave Cowan's happy with his team, even though they're 4 points down. He wants them to keep up the intensity and keep the pressure on defensively. Now, Phil Jackson, a little more upset with his team. He said they're giving up too many second chance points. They're getting killed on the boards. And the other thing, they want to keep David Wesley from sneaking out fast on the break. The last thing he told his team is to try to get a better start here in the second half than they got at the beginning of the game by scoring right off the bat. Bob?
It's always a good plan to score quickly if you can.
That is true, Bob.
I see you smiling, Zeke. When the coach gathers the team together and says, you know, let's try to play better, and if we can, let's try to score.
Well, the key for Charlotte when you're playing against the Chicago Bulls team is you got to keep scoring and you got to keep attacking. They came out in the first quarter and they were attacking. In the second quarter, they didn't attack as much.
Luke Longley takes it right to the hoop, heeding the advice.
That's a set play right there coming out of the halftime. They slipped Luke Longley on the pick because Divac has been stepping up so quickly to play Michael Jordan coming off the screen roll.
Now, the veteran smart team, they'll come out in the second half and they'll attack the third quarter because you attack the first quarter.
Here's Wesley with Michael on him. Divac into the lane, and he was bumped. The foul is on Longley, his third. Tomorrow on NBC Nightly News, the fleecing of America, how your tax dollars are being spent on a mission against Mother Nature. Join Tom Brokaw on NBC Nightly News tomorrow. Tom Brokaw, something of a regular at Knick games. Big basketball fan, perhaps disappointed by today's overtime outcome. You know, from a coaching standpoint, Doug, it just breaks your heart if you're Jeff Van Gundy, taking nothing away from Indiana. Reggie Miller misses, it's 2-2, and people are talking about a 7-game series. He hits it, you kind of...
That's how fragile success is in this league, Bob. You're one bounce away, one rebound away from being 2-2 even in the series. You don't come up with that play, the big three-point shot, and you lose an OT.
Things go down the drain in overtime. They couldn't buy a basket, and now they're looking at their season possibly ending in Game 5 at Indiana. Bulls lead at 46-42. The foul on Mason was his third. Bulls ball from the side. Pippen alone in the corner, passes up the shot to find Longley, who has it rejected by Divac. Here comes Rice, bumped by Pippen.
Now, we keep emphasizing how Charlotte must attack, and the main reason they need to attack the basket is so they can get to the free throw line, because that's where Chicago has been successful in beating them at. In the first half, Charlotte shot 4 free throws.
Rice open. And can hit it.
Open shooting. And we talked about it to start the game. You've got to make the open shots. Glenn Rice, one of the better open shooters. Rice is now 4 for 12. And Bob, when you play against the champions, you said the margin of error is very slim. You realize that as a player. Sometimes you squeeze those open shots a little different against the Bulls than you do the other teams.
Here's Scotty up top to Harper. Ron Harper hits. Chicago's lead is 6. That's their largest margin of the night.
See tonight, open shooting 7 for 18. The misses 7 for 26, 5 for 20, and the 2 other losses. So you can see that's continuing to hurt this Charlotte team, who prides themselves on being a great shooting team during the season.
Anthony Mason with the hook. He scored 8. Michael. Rebound Rice.
See, I like what Mason did on that last move. He got it and made a quick move to the basket.
Wesley has it shoved back in his face by Harper. Here come the Bulls. Michael pulls up over Divac and has it.
The two-hand outlet pass to Jordan in stride by Dennis Rodman. Jordan pulls up and shoots a 15-foot J on the fast break. A shot that you don't see taken in basketball a lot anymore, Doug.
Well, it's that medium-range jump shot that has made him even better than he was early in his career, because now he can shoot it deep, he can shoot the mid-range, he can get it all the way to the basket.
Divac spins on Longley. Nice move.
I really think Vlade Divac is playing as well against Chicago as I've seen him play since he played for the Lakers earlier in his career. He's rebounding. He's playing tough defense. He's keeping them alive in this series.
He has a favorable matchup with Longley because he has superior foot speed.
Harper can't make it 2 in a row.
Look long.
Pippen gets back and picks it off. Wesley was hanging back, trying to steal a basket. Pippen made the defensive play and may have hurt himself. He was holding his lower back, and the Bulls asked for time. Let's take a look. Maybe we can pick up how it happened.
As Pippen goes up to intercept this pass, watch as he comes down on that one leg. And I think he twisted his back. You see him grab his back. All the force and weight came down on that one leg. Watch as he extends, and he comes down on that right leg, and boom, there it is. And all the force is registered right into that lower back. You see him grabbing his back right away.
Now, after my first year coaching in Chicago with Scottie Pippen, he had back surgery and responded well and came back. So this is a guy, after his first year in the NBA, did have back surgery.
But see, I love Scottie Pippen because he's a warrior. If you can think back to last year in that Washington series that they won 3-1, he goes into Washington and he gets the last shot where he's hanging on the rim and he falls flat on his back and he gets right back up.
Here's Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Bob. Scottie Pippen, as you saw, just twisted his back a little bit. A sharp pain, but as you can see, he's still in the game, so he's fine. Bob?
Steve Kerr comes in. Longley hits over Divac.
Now, see, if I'm the Charlotte Hornets right now, I go right at Scottie Pippen. I try to run him off some screens to see and test that back right away and see if it's going to bother him.
Bulls by half a dozen. Wesley penetrates, pulls up, hits.
Now, Steve Kerr in the game here a little bit earlier than normal in the third quarter. I think it's because he's going to get some open shots the way Charlotte is playing defense. Let's see if they can find him for an open shot.
Here it is. He was fouled, and he's going to shoot 3 free throws.
See, Ron Harper had 2 open shots. He made one of them, then shot an air ball. I think Steve Kerr is in there because Phil Jackson realizes they're double teaming now in the low block against Michael Jordan. Steve Kerr can break this game open with his shooting. This is a really tough foul because now you put him to the line to shoot free throws.
Wesley is arguing on that play that the ball was released already and they called the foul after the ball was released, and he's complaining that Steve Kerr tripped him.
Steve Kerr, the all-time career leader in three-point shooting, has made one of the first 2.
One of the things that the Bulls have always done in building their team is realize that with Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan, you must have a guy beside him that can shoot the basketball. You remember back to the early championships, John Paxson, B.J. Armstrong, you see a Steve Kerr, guys who can make that open shot to give these guys space to work.
You know, that one team that they had when they beat Phoenix, they had Trent Tucker, B.J. Armstrong, and John Paxson as the three-point shooters.
B.J. Armstrong had some big games in that '93 final against the Suns. Here is Mason dealing it out to Phils for the jumper.
So I think when Mason has it that close to the basket, he's got to score. He's got to turn in and take that little hook shot and not look to pass.
Longley turns into the lane and slams it home. Chicago has its biggest lead at 8. It's so important that Longley has come back and played significant minutes in this series. As Wesley accelerates to the baseline and finds Divac against 3 defenders. Divac is fouled. To finish up what we were saying, with either Rick Smits, which seems most likely with the Pacers in front 3-1, or even Patrick Ewing, who's made a surprise return and been effective. With either one of those 2 waiting in the next round, assuming the Bulls get past the Hornets, they need Longley to be a presence.
It's important that Longley comes back and he plays well, because once you get past Longley, the Bulls are really a small basketball team as Vlade shoots the air ball.
That is the wrong way to wind up on SportsCenter. A foul line air ball. That's better.
Have you noticed the Bulls now starting to get a little more frenetic when their defense? I think they're trying to knock the Hornets out right now. Got to have a lot of composure if you're Charlotte.
But that's when the veteran team tries to make their move, is at the start of the third quarter.
Michael not having a particularly good shooting night in terms of percentage. Here's Wesley pulling up, and he misses.
See, I think the Hornets are letting Scottie Pippen off the hook right now because they haven't tested to see if that back injury is bothering him at all.
Jordan is 8 of 20 from the floor. Crossover into the lane, scoop shot, too hard off the glass, followed by Rodman.
You got Vlade and Rodman going at it. Here they go.
Dennis is not really a fighter. He's an agitator, but he doesn't like to fight.
You know, Dennis Rodman has never had a fight in the NBA. I've never saw Dennis Rodman throw a punch in the NBA, even in the years that I played with him and since I've been watching him. But he likes to get you tangled up. He likes to get inside your head and play games with you.
It looks like a double technical will be called on Divac and Rodman. It's Rodman's third technical in the playoffs. It's a double personal. I take it back. A double personal, not a double technical. Technicalities or not, we stop for a commercial.
Michael Jordan going strong to the basket. He misses the little flip shot. You see Rodman and Divac going strong after the rebound. The second effort by Dennis Rodman to score. And then afterwards, they both take exception. No punches thrown. It's a double foul. A little good takedown there. It's the second look at it. But Rodman, as he lays the ball in the basket, he comes down with his left arm and hits Vlade. Vlade does not like that. They sort of grab each other. No punches thrown. Double foul. More importantly right now, Charlotte is down 9 as the Bulls making a little push here in this third period.
And Jordan fouls Wesley. Game 3 here the other night. The fans took up the chant of "Don't touch Mike," sarcastically indicating that if you so much as breathe on him, it's a foul on you, but he can get away with much more when he's playing defense. At least that's their perspective, shared by most fans in non-Chicago NBA cities. Divac with the hook.
See, anytime Vlade gets it in the low post, you'll see him put it on the floor and make a move to try to get Longley to use his foot speed. As Vlade cuts him off right there, Longley doesn't have the foot speed to go around Vlade, nor to play him offensively.
Mason with the steal. Wesley open. Spins out.
So again, if Mason holds that ball 1 second longer, that'll give Wesley enough time to get his feet set so Scottie Pippen can't recover to bother his shot.
Pippen over Rice. Got it.
Little two-man game that time. Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, the patience. It goes in. Scottie doesn't like his position. He kicks it back out. Michael gives it one more time. Little inside reverse pivot. Scottie buries the J.
And now picks off the pass. He's gone.
See, I think they made a huge mistake by not challenging Scottie to see if that back was okay. They let him rest during that 3-4 minute period, and now he's got himself back into a rhythm, feeling okay, and now he's ready to attack again.
The Hornets, who once led by 9, now trail by 11.
You see Scottie Pippen out in the passing lane. He gets the steal. But more importantly, what I watched was as Scottie Pippen laid this ball in the basket, the body language of the Charlotte Hornets. It's almost like, you know what, guys? We can't win this game. Nobody even runs Scottie down, turns around, lays the ball in the basket. And I watched the whole Charlotte team as they walked over to Dave Cowens in that 20-second timeout. And right now, their spirits are about as down as I've seen in this game.
They trailed by only 4 at the half. Down now by 11 with 4:56 to play in the third. After the 22nd timeout, it's Bobby Phills who'll bring it to the front court against Harper. Michael over on a double team. Divac looking for some help. Mason with Rodman on him. Bobby Phills with the jumper. It's a two-point basket. His foot was just inside the line. And it's a 9-point game.
He's really the only Charlotte Hornet who's consistently made the open shot today. Wesley and Rice have been very inconsistent, as has Del Curry when he played.
Michael misses. But 15 now for Scotty as he slams home the follow. Intended for the cutting Rice is picked off by Rodman. Michael around Divac.
Now, this is when Chicago will really start to pick you apart. They'll become a little bit more patient on offense. They'll see you pressing defensively, and they'll bring you out and challenge you. And Glenn Rice steps up and knocks down a big shot for the Charlotte Hornets right now.
After he showed Divac the ball, pulled it back, and scored off the baseline drive, Michael came back on defense, just grinning from ear to ear. Here he is again. Gets it back from Pippen. Tough shot. That isn't there, but the tip is for Harper.
Charlotte has lost now their heart. They're just giving up second shots. They have got to get themselves together here. There's still plenty of time in this game. They're down 13, but they have got to get some tenacity back if they're even going to have a chance.
Wesley on the drive. It doesn't fall. Knocked out of bounds. Clock stops with 2:26 to play in the third. Michael and the Bulls with reason to smile, up by 13.
Genuine Draft presents even more basketball.
Let's talk about team defense. Michael Jordan fronting the post. Dennis Rodman. They're going to flash and try to go high-low. Vlade catches it. Rodman reads it all the way. They go to Glenn Rice. Rodman there as the interceptor. Team defense at its best. That's why the Bulls are the champions.
And in recognition of this look inside the game, Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Luke Longley puts the ball in play following the timeout. Chicago by 13. Pippen can't add to it. B.J. Armstrong has it. Phills pulls up and misses. Rodman with his 12th rebound of the night. Jordan had to muscle that one up. He's just 10 of 25, 40%. The rest of the team, absent Michael, is shooting 67% for the game.
You can see immediately when B.J. Armstrong comes in the game, Michael Jordan says, "Hey, Phil, I've got him."
Phills into the lane. His pass is off Mason's hands and picked up by Jordan. Pippen with the lob for Longley.
See, now they just pick you apart. Dave Cowens would call a timeout now. Charlotte mentally has conceded to the Chicago Bulls at this point.
A minute 29 to play in the third. All the sting has gone out of the Hornets.
Watch this sequence by Michael Jordan. He has B.J. Armstrong in the post. He's going to back him down. Vlade comes over to give help. Too late with the score. When he goes on defense, take a look at this. Michael Jordan The tongue is out, but look at this. Look at these eyes. Michael Jordan says, you want some of this, BJ? Come get it.
Not the most appetizing of offers for the opposition. Here is BJ with Kerr on him. Last minute and 20 seconds of the third quarter. A third quarter which began with Chicago up by 4. They now lead by 17. Mason with an errant pass. He recovers it. 2 seconds to shoot. Shot clock violation. The basket doesn't count.
They were trying to run a play right there for Rice, and Scottie Pippen did an excellent job in the post, forced them to their second option. Pippen has been all over Rice this evening.
This is the Bulls' now third straight dominant game on the road in the playoffs. They're up 17 points, shooting 55%, and absolutely dominating the Charlotte Hornets on their home floor.
Pippen has it go in and out. Shooting 55% as a team with their top guy, the guy who takes the most shots, 25 of them tonight, hitting just 40%. Here's BJ. And he cans the baseline J.
Now there's still a quarter to play, and if you're the Charlotte Hornets, you must take your time and chip away, not get too excited, and just get one basket at a time.
Pippen misses off the glass. Last 20 seconds. Armstrong to the hoop. And BJ with his second consecutive basket. Chicago with 5 seconds to get one off. Kukoc, I don't know what he was thinking, never advanced the ball toward the hoop. Big third quarter, though, for the Bulls, and we'll be back after these words from your local station. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
The Bulls lead by 13 after a dominant third period, 28-19. They outscore Charlotte. The greatness, Isaiah, of the champions on the road. The Bulls actually take it to an extreme. Look what they're averaging at home this year and on the road. This is the third 50% plus game shooting. Look at the scoring differential, the rebounding. They love being on the road. They love the challenge of silencing the other team's home crowd.
That's amazing. And in the third quarter, Charlotte shot 53% from the field, but they had 5 turnovers, and Chicago shot 54% from the field.
Glenn Rice opens the fourth by missing an open 3.
And those 5 possessions were the difference in the third quarter.
Ironically, their ability to win on the road actually keeps the Bulls off the road. They now have the possibility of closing this thing out, assuming they win tonight, by winning Game 5 at home, which would mean they've gone through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs as Michael connects. First 2 rounds of the playoffs, getting on a plane for only 1 trip each round. And with a veteran team conserving their energy for when, in theory, the games get tougher in the conference finals, and if they make it that far, the league finals. B.J. Armstrong.
Also, too, Bob, when you have a little bit of an older team, you want to play as minimum games as you possibly can. We saw Scottie Pippen come down and tweak his back a little bit. That's why you want to play as few games as possible. You don't want to get somebody injured.
Almost lost it, turns, shoots, and misses. Gets his own rebound, and can't hit that either. Out of bounds to Charlotte. They trail by 13. .5 to play in the game. Divac against Longley. Who fouled it? This is the end of an NBC triple header for this Mother's Day, but there's more basketball if you want it. 9 Eastern time. Utah and San Antonio. That series now 2-1 Jazz. The Spurs with a resounding win at the Alamo Dome yesterday in Game 3. Divac open from the foul line. Overshot it. Longley has the rebound. So just in the first 2 minutes of this period, Divac misses an open foul line jumper. Rice misses a wide open look at a 3. And if you're going to come back, you can't squander too many of those opportunities. Kukoc is hammered. Stopping the clock with 9:51 to play in the fourth. Bulls on their way to a 3-1 series lead.
Michael Jordan always looking for ways to score. Being guarded in a low post by his former teammate B.J. Armstrong, spins on him and reverses on Divac. Then he gives Divac a little fake, goes right around him. The two-handed overhead pass from Rodman, pulls up and shoots a 15-foot J, and then a fadeaway on Glenn Rice. MJ.
Well, in this series, Michael actually beneath his usual output in terms of per-game scoring in the second round. Of course, the competition is varied in each of those years, and what matters is his team is on the verge of taking a stranglehold on this series as Kukoc hits the free throw.
One of the things we've said about Charlotte, they're a team that relies on their shooting. Talked about making open shots. First half, they were only 7 of 17, 2 for 8 this half, 9 for 25 in the game.
Trying just about anything, Dave Cowens inserts the rookie from South Carolina State, Travis Williams, who until now has not played in this series. He wears number 32. B.J. Armstrong into the lane, dishes to Mason, and his jumper is there. Mason with 10. Michael over Rice. Count it. Jordan with 25. Rice with Pippen guarding him. Fade away, tough shot. Doesn't hit it. And here comes Pippen. Glenn Rice has just 2 points in the second half of this game. Mason gives it to Rice, who has just 10 points overall. The three-pointer by B.J. Armstrong. He back rims it, and the rebound is taken by Michael.
Got to make sure you get good shots. You want to take the open one, but you don't want to be too careless firing shots up so quickly that you don't give yourself a chance to get in the offensive rebound. And Charlotte right now has gotten out of sync completely with their entire game plan.
Well, everything right now is desperation for them. They got about 2 to 3 more minutes to really make a serious run right here, and they can't let their emotions get the best of them.
Steve Kerr to Kukoc. His pass deflected out of bounds. 4 on the shot clock.
Watch Michael for the lob here. He'll try to bait you that he's coming out. And if Glenn Rice falls asleep, he'll go right to the basket.
Here's Michael, as you called it, and he's fouled.
Doug, that's not fair because you've coached him before.
See, that's the old hidden ball trick. Hey, Glenn, over there, I'm going to go to the basket. You got to know where the ball is, and when you're Michael Jordan, you got to put your body on him and make him go out to the sideline. You can't let him reverse you.
Now, did you put that play in?
We used to run it, but he's the one that made it effective.
The foul was Rice's 4th, and tonight an NBC world premiere movie event based on the true story of the man who brought down mob boss John Gotti. Witness to the Mob begins at 9 Eastern, 8 Central tonight on NBC. Jordan hits them both. He's got 27.
Now, if you're Charlotte right now, you can't concede. You got to keep playing because you got another game coming up in Chicago, and this is a 7-game series. You really don't want to give in right now.
Armstrong behind Mason's screen, trying to work himself free. Baseline jumper, overshot it, and it's grabbed by Rodman. 16 boards for Dennis. Jordan the pull-up, 29 for him. Timeout, Charlotte. Not so much to talk strategy, because what can you do at this point, trailing by 19? More just to settle things down and hope you don't get embarrassed the rest of the way.
Again, the 15-foot pull-up in transition. Same spot, same tune, same noise.
We've heard it all before, but it still sounds sweet for Chicago. While we were away, here's part of what was said on the Chicago bench.
I'm away right now. I need 6 minutes of rest. Hey, you all right? You all right?
Michael saying, let's put them away right now. I need 6 minutes of rest, meaning even up by 19, let's put them away in the next minute and a half.
See, what the champion understands is how to finish. He wants to make that doubt now turn into fear.
If it hasn't already, Kukoc with the steal. The dish to Michael, who has 31. And Chicago leads by 21. Rice for 3. That's the first he's hit. He's 1 for 4 on threes. 6 of 16 overall. 13 points in the game. He's played every minute for Dave Cowens tonight. Kukoc mismatched with Armstrong, spun around him, and was fouled.
Michael Jordan is going to be the trailer on this fast break. Tony Kukoc in the passing lane with the steal. He finds Michael, who pulls up and buries a soft little jump shot. Michael was only 10 for 25 at the end of the third quarter, but you would never know it the way he shot the ball here in the fourth period.
He's now at nearly 50%, 14 for 30 in the game.
You know, Bob, just to follow up a little bit on the huddle there by the Chicago Bulls, you know, some things go unsaid. And with Michael Jordan, the one thing you also remember and realize is that leadership is also a skill. And the great champions are also leaders. I'm sitting here beside one, Isaiah Thomas, the Magic Johnsons, the Larry Birds, the Michael Jordans. Are not only great players, they have the intangibles of being the leader and bringing out the best in their teammates.
Del Curry, shot clock down to 7, and Curry is fouled. 6:26 to play in the game.
Now, Vlade and Jordan got tangled up on the sideline, and Jordan reached back in, and after that foul, Vlade walked up to Jordan and said, hey, I'm not afraid of you.
Meanwhile, tonight on Dateline, what does it take to bust the mob's grip on legitimate business? A separate question, which we'll take up later. Here's the replay as Divac and Jordan go at one another.
You see him get tangled up right there. Now watch Vlade as he walks up to Jordan as if to say, hey, I'm not afraid. I'm not backing down.
And Zeke, I know you would like to find out how federal agents caught the Mafia red-handed on never-before-seen hidden camera video. That's tonight on Dateline. Chicago up by 18. Mason pokes it away from Jordan. According to Michael's plan, he's got about 9 seconds left to play if he's to get his 6 minutes of rest.
I can't emphasize it enough. When you watch Michael Jordan play, the way he competes and the way he loves to play basketball, it shows on his face, it shows in his steps, and it may just show in that shot.
Misses that one, but a foul on the rebounding attempt. Kukoc, his second. Inside 6 minutes. Game 5 is Wednesday night at the United Center. The Bulls do not want to return to Charlotte. Rice misses, Rodman rebounds, his 17th. The question in this series, posed with no disrespect intended to the Charlotte Hornets as Pippen finishes up a drive, was not so much could the Hornets beat the Bulls. That seemed like a very, very long shot. But how hard could they make them work to advance past the second round? They managed to pull the upset in Game 2 in Chicago. But the Bulls are going to win both of them here at the Hive and maybe finish the series in 5 and get the rest they hope they'll need, or they believe they might need, moving into the next round.
Well, this is almost the same script as last year. Atlanta comes in into the second round, play them close in the first game, beat the Bulls in the second game. The Bulls go out on the road, sweep the road, and finish it off in 5. And this is exactly what they're looking at doing against Charlotte. So both times, a team has come in and gotten the Bulls' attention when they appeared to be a little bit bored.
Divac has it blocked by Kukoc, and now Divac and Rodman again tangled. But Dennis just kind of pulls himself away from Divac and shakes his head, wants no part of any altercation.
Well, the officials do a nice job when they...
Mother's Day.
Robin just walked by and said, tell my mother Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, Mrs. Robin. Oh, and by the way, Happy Mother's Day to you too, Mom.
And here is Kukoc. A whistle blows, stopping play with 4:40 remaining. And the officials are now concerned that things are getting a little rough and a little chippy here. Mason with a little contact with Rodman, more than a little, sticks his hand right up under his chin. And this is the kind of game where it's out of hand. It's a 20-point game. You've already got some stuff that's happened earlier. You can get a fight down the stretch here just out of frustration.
They called a double foul on that.
I guess Rodman fouled him with his face or neck. Gee, it seemed like Mason was the only guilty party there.
See, you look at Dennis Rodman right now, and he's saying, hey, I'm just doing my job. He sets the screen. Mason gives him a cheap shot right there. Rodman reacts, and the thing I love about Dennis Rodman is that he backed away, clapped his hand to draw attention to what had happened. He didn't jump up in Anthony Mason's face like, hey, I want to fight you or anything like that. Again, Rodman is one of the true lovers of the sport. The way he competes, the way he plays, he's just beautiful to watch.
And I think you can see that Phil Jackson's going to go to his bench right now. Dickie Simpkins is going to come in the game, and he's going to take out Dennis Rodman just so nothing happens. I think that's a smart decision by Phil to do that because Anthony Mason has lost his composure.
And if you're the Charlotte Hornets right now with 5 minutes to go, you still got to keep playing. You got to keep practicing because you got another game.
Perhaps surprisingly, Michael is still in there. The last call is a double personal plus a technical on Mason. Kerr shot the tee and missed it. Kukoc hits the 3, making it 90-67.
I think you just saw Michael's last possession. Phil motioned to the bench to get somebody into the game. Judd Bushler.
Divac hits. Somebody hit him. He'll come to the line trying to complete a 3-point play. 14 for Vlade. This Thursday, I don't know if you were aware of this, guys, but it's the final episode of Seinfeld. Have you heard about that? Yeah, it's been in all the papers so far as I can tell. Followed by the season finale of ER, and later, Jerry joins Jay Leno on The Tonight Show. The big Seinfeld finale, one of the great shows in the history of television, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, Thursday on NBC. Jordan does go out with 4 minutes to play rather than 6. Kukoc again. Not this time. Rice has the rebound. So Simpkins and Bushler, who hadn't played prior to just now, are in the lineup. Curry misses the 3. Kukoc clears it. Scottie Pippen, meanwhile, remains in with 3.5 minutes to play in the game. Nice pass to Kerr, but it's knocked away. Couldn't finish it. Here comes Armstrong. Divat's the hook over Simpkins. Rebound Curry, and he scores. (90-72). Indiana leads the Knicks 3-1. They had to sweat for it to win Game 4 in overtime at the Garden. The Bulls will lead the Hornets 3-1. Kukoc wide open. And so we could be headed for what people anticipated, the Pacers and the Bulls in the Eastern Conference Final.
See, I don't like the way Charlotte is playing at all right now. They're not even competing. They're not playing defense. They're just giving people wide open shots. And to me, that's embarrassing.
Only 2 more minutes plus 29 seconds to endure for Charlotte. Thanks, Jane. We'll look forward to Dateline following the ball game on NBC. 2:29 remaining here. It has long since been a foregone conclusion. Michael and company trailed 11-2. They came back to take a 4-point lead at the half and then blew it open with a big third quarter. And his output for this evening, right around his average for the season and for this series.
There was a lot of talk before this game about Anthony Mason guarding Michael Jordan, and again he took it as a personal challenge, came out tonight and gave him 31. And the job that Scottie Pippen did on Glenn Rice, holding him to 13 points.
Michael got his 31 on 14 of 31 from the field. Didn't go to the free throw line very often at all. Rodman, 18 rebounds, 8 points. Michael shot just 3 free throws, made them all.
Bob, let's talk about the Bulls defense. The Hornets offense the regular season, look what they averaged, almost 97 points a game, one of the most potent offensive teams. Against Atlanta in the first round, 86. Look what they're averaging against the Chicago Bulls, 77.3.
B.J. Armstrong hits 1 out of 2. When this game concludes, we'll have a little bit of time before the top of the hour. We'll go back to New York. Hannah Storm in the Showtime studio, joined by our special guest, Cavalier coach, the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello, and they'll review the 3 games played thus far today in the NBA and perhaps look ahead to the Jazz and the Spurs later. Simpkins on the run. And back come the Hornets as we move toward 2 minutes to play. This is Corey Beck making his first appearance, second-year man from Arkansas. Armstrong drives and scores. B.J. Armstrong now with 11 against his former teammates. Judd Bushler and Scott Burrell. Burrell fires a long one and misses it. Here comes Armstrong. B.J. will fire and miss. Bushler has it. Kukoc, Bushler, Brown, Simpkins, and Burrell on the floor right now. And Charlotte has it on the turnover. At this stage in a game like this, all you're hoping for is no fouls to slow things up and that no one gets hurt.
Well, you want to go out and compete. You want to keep competing. And I was very disappointed at the last Charlotte group that was in there because they really didn't compete.
And, you know, I look over at Dave Cowens, and I played against Dave Cowens. He was the ultimate competitor, MVP of the league, won championships. And if there's anything that sucks the life out of a coach or just gets to you, is when you feel like your team stops competing. And I know Dave well enough to know that that's what's getting him. You can take the loss, but you can't take when your team stops playing hard.
Particularly in the playoffs. This isn't the regular season. We're talking the playoffs.
Travis Williams with his first basket. The rookie from South Carolina State puts his name in the scorebook. Simpkins. Randy Brown juggled it. Gets it to Simpkins for the little hook. And back comes Del Curry. Armstrong open for 3. And he scored 14. Doug, what chance do you give Charlotte to go into Chicago on Wednesday and be competitive, make it interesting?
None, because I don't think they want to be there. I think that they had a chance today to maybe even this series at 2-2. And I think that the Bulls have just taken their heart with these 2 home wins, that they've come in and taken their heart. And that's what the Bulls do to you.
Dickie Simpkins' basket concludes the scoring as Corey Beck misses at the buzzer. The Bulls win it 94-80 and had a lead of upwards of 20 before they pulled the regulars. That's the way the Eastern Conference looks right now, and we go to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Bob. I'm here with Michael Jordan and Dennis Rodman. Michael, the Charlotte Hornets started out with a lot of intensity. You guys were able to match it in the first half.
Well, when we're on the road and the team's backed into the corner, the first thing they're going to do is come out with a lot of energy, a lot of motivation, and all we have to do is sustain that, keep our poise, and get ourselves back into the game. By the first quarter, we were right back in the game, so we took that best shot early on. What was the difference in the third quarter when you broke it wide open? I think our efficient defense, our overall offense, we kept putting pressure on them, and they never really respond. All right, congratulations to you, Michael. We'll see you next week. Dennis, tremendous defense, tremendous effort on your part. What was going on with you and Anthony Mason?
Well, we're just having a good time. I asked him if he wanted to tango, but he didn't know the steps. But he's a lot bigger than I am, but I try to use all my heart and my soul and try to go out there and try to, get what I have. It seems like in these series, these teams come out and challenge you in the first couple of games, but you guys have a way of beating them down. We have a way of beating them down because I think some of the young teams get very excited in the beginning of the game. They say, well, we got them, and they forget to play the rest of the 3 quarters. So I think that's where experience come in and relaxation and knowing the game of basketball. After this game and winning here, do you feel like there's a strong feeling of closure as far as the Bulls are concerned and closing out this series? Well, we have no choice. We have to go back to Chicago and win this, try to get a couple of days off and try to face Indiana. Of course, Indiana's going to win. All right, thanks, Dennis. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. And Alexis. Back to you, Bob.
All right, Ahmad, and as you were talking with Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan walked off this floor, perhaps for the last time, toward the locker room, and many in this crowd had remained just to watch his exit. The flashbulbs were popping. He is, of course, a native North Carolinian, played his college ball for the Tar Heels, and so he's much respected here. Chicago wins it. We go to Hannah Storm with Peter Vesey, John Sally, and Mike Fratello in our New York studio. See you next weekend.